Non-duality is a funny teaching because it's this huge complex body of work and teachers and philosophy that's teaching us that reality is reality, thoughts are thoughts. A giraffe is a giraffe. A thought about a thought. A giraffe is a thought. An emotion about a giraffe is an emotion. It's like, wow, we have to be taught this? But yes, we do, because we have gotten so mixed up. We are not taught from the very first day that reality is reality and imagination is imagination, and I am me and you are you, and everything is connected, and the way I behave matters, and the way you behave matters, and that we belong to a society. And I mean, these things are like so obvious. But instead, we're taught things like you're special, you're beautiful, you're strong, all these things that make you separate from everything else. You're strong. Boys are taught this, right? Actually, they're taught be strong. You're supposed to be strong. So that means, first of all, you're not good enough. Second of all, there's strong people and there's weak people. Girls are taught, you're beautiful. Maybe you're not that beautiful. Even if you are, like, that separates. You got the beautiful girls and you got the unbeautiful girls. So if you just go through the list and list and list and list of things that we are taught in our Western society about who we are, it's all about division. Us, them, us, them. Even as groups, we're taught. Say you live in New York City, I'm a New Yorker. Say you live in the United States, I'm a patriot. All the things that we're taught, it's just increases and increases and increases the level of division that we feel inside ourselves. So then we have to have this huge philosophy teaching us that a thought is a thought, an emotion is an emotion, a tree is a tree, a thought about a tree is a thought about a tree. When things happen to you, that thing just happened to you. Who you are matters, and the way you respond to it matters. But instead we internalize it and turn it into a fixed thing. So yeah, non-duality is this really, really funny thing. Hugely useful. We need it constantly to remember there are not two. Everything is one. If we always talked this way, and if this was in our language, the way we responded to each other all the time, the way we were taught from when we were young, we would be in a completely different world. We're part of everything. Everything is connected. You're not specialer than anybody else. You're not less special. Special doesn't matter. What matters is connection. You're not more beautiful or less beautiful than anyone else. What matters is how do you interact with things. Don't have to always be strong, but it is good to value strength. So non-duality is teaching us to just really start looking at life through a new interpretation of how it is and who we are. So it's really, really useful to think of these things every day. Don't get caught up into all the crazy. I mean, there are so many non-duality teachings that are just like, woo, it's like, what? Really? What does that mean? When you listen to a good teaching, you should go, oh, yes. Just like when you see a tree, you're like, oh, a tree. When someone says something like, your thought is your thought, is a thought. If you have a response of, well, of course it is, then that's a good day. If you hear a teaching, an emotion is just an emotion, and you think, well, yeah, that's true. But what does that mean? How do I live with that when a huge emotion comes up? Do I suppress this emotion, or can I like look at it, look directly at it? It's just a thing. You can look at it. Your ego is just a thing that you can look at. Look directly at it. Look directly at a tree. Look at the hard things. Look at global warming. It's happening. Don't avoid it. Look at it. It's a thing. It exists. Look at our societal problems. If you look directly at it, now, how do you respond? So yeah, non-duality is a funny teaching because when you really, really start grasping it and thinking, what does it mean that there aren't two things happening? First of all, when you really see it, you always laugh. It's like, well, of course, there's not two things happening. How could there be? But second of all, how does that make you more integrated in the world?